brown people are evil. Let's move on. Okay. That train shit got weird.
Why, if I love war so much?
Okay, this one apparently gets a bit heated. Why is it?
Do you think China? Hang on, let me ask you. Do you think China? Wait, one sec. Do you think
China? We did with Russia.
Do you think China? Do you think China? You gotta let me talk a little bit.
Free trade with slave states is.
He always sits like that, like one arm sort of. He always does that. As if I. All right. Rah. Okay, this is a bear.
Unfathomably counterproductive.
The regime when I was asking about the people first. Now I'm going to talk about the regime.
Dictatorship. If you don't mention the regime, you're remiss.
I'm gonna. That's the next part. Kevin, that's the next part. But do you agree? Do you think? Hang on, let me ask you a question.
Actually want to change the world.
Let me ask you a question, Kevin. I have a question. Do you think that over the past?
You think I love war? No, I hate fascism. And the thing is, as I said before, I think you're a pretty good guy and everything. But I found that comment to be just either incredibly unintelligent or incredibly bad faith. So I had to confront you on it. And I'm having a hard time believing you can't grasp that I actually find like.
I mean, yeah, I disagree with. I disagree with you.
Why, if I love war so much, why am I not like in the military doing war crimes and killing babies and stuff?
Why not? Why? If you're not doing it yourself, it must mean you hate war.
And if I could start a city from scratch, I would make it so like basically every roadway, even not just the major ones, but every roadway would have like.
Hey, we got a couple of unsubbed in this chat. Something's going on. Violent Smoker. Made Pandora. We need more subs. We need more gifties getting out there, chat. We need it. I thought this was a sub-only stream. This is it's International Sub Appreciation Day. The fuck? Are you shitting me?
8 lanes, like 4 each way. But
8 lanes.
But there'd also be separated, like concrete barriers for protection, bike lanes.
How are you?
Bruh, why am I not even invading a country right now? Bruh.
Remember the Holodomor?
Ledidi, thanks for the prime sub. Really appreciate that.
Are you gonna have any? Are you like anti-neighborhood? Because if you have,
an anonymous gifter.
Because you had.
Thanks for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs, anonymous gifter. Really appreciate it. Woohoo!
8 lanes. You know that you're not gonna have any sort of neighborhood at all.
Well, you can have friends over. You don't have to worry about the neighbors.
You can do the same with renting, though. All of the. Wait, hang on. You have to push back.
My point is that there are benefits to the house, Heem.
Yeah.
No. You say trains are being discussed. I understand. We weren't. Now, the original tweet was talking about Canada.
Trains. Yeah, and how they have it. We should have a.
But the response was big upping China, though. They wanted an easier control of their population.
No, Kevin, I genuinely think it's because they have a massive population with massive cities, 160 cities with 1 million people population, and they want to.
God damn it. Hi, Bizzo, with the 5 gifted tier 1 subs again. Thank you so much. And I think this one's coming up as well.
Because you had.
Thanks, anonymous gifter, for the sub to Violent Smoker. Damn, thank you. We're back into the sub appreciation stream. Yes.
To be able to move these people quickly and efficiently. They can't have cars for everyone when there's that many people.
That's a hype train incoming. Hype.
That's literally. I think that's it.
Yeah, and but understand, when you have a regime like this, right? When it's easier to basically go between different population centers and whatnot, but it's all ultimately on the government's timetable. In other words, they can just shut the trains down if they want, if there was a revolution or something. We have a problem here because it is the regime ultimately doing this. By their basically their blessing or whatever, they're giving the people and all the districts and stuff this infrastructure by their grace. It is done to legitimize the CCP. It's done to extend their control into the hinterland. It's done to basically communize the regional parts of China that are kind of far away from the center of power, so that they can extend their cultural hegemony, particular Han, CCP hegemony within China. Namely, they really want to sinicize Tibet. Xinjiang, like this stuff is coming to Xinjiang explicitly soon. They have plans to extend this stuff out that way, and the idea of it.
Oh no, we've mentioned Xinjiang, which means there's gonna be a fucking unsubbed person in chat is gonna start saying some weird shit. That's usually what happens when Xinjiang gets mentioned in this game. Oh no, there's always one. Let's wait for it.
Is to basically destroy any resisting sort of culture within China and make it all subservient to the great leader system. And you might say, okay, well, one positive effect of this is that individual people in cities in China might be able to find employment in other cities easier. You might say, okay, well, that's good because that person can get a job better. But understand, to whom are they paying taxes? To whom does that growth go to?
Yeah, of course, obviously, by every government.
So the CCP gets richer, so they can build more nukes to aim at us. They can consolidate their navy. They can expand their navy.
So basically,
they can interfere in Filipino sovereignty.
Yeah,
they can interfere in
one sec.
sovereignty.
So because they have let's be frank, they're not political, but like economic competition with the West at the very least, we can say. So because of that,
it's a Cold War.
All right. So because of that, then that's it. Fuck it. Like nothing they do can ever be copied. Even we can't say, hey, look, they're doing a thing good. Why don't we try doing that thing too?
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's really insidious. Okay, if somebody said on Twitter, look at the French TGV, and they had a bunch of pictures of the French TGV.
I don't know what that is. Sorry, I don't know what that is.
The Train Grand Vitesse. It's the high-speed rail in France. It was one of the first systems in the world.
Okay.
I think they were the first train to reach 570 kilometers an hour. There's like a video of it on YouTube.
Wait,
like, it looks cool.
He's talking
I'm
about
not
trains.
like against all trains. I think high-speed, luxurious, efficient trains are cool. Right, I like the Shinkansen. What I don't like is genocidal dictatorships. So if somebody on Twitter, right, they had a bunch of pictures of the French TGV or whatever, and they were like, "Why can't we be like this?" or something. Am I gonna like quote tweet them, or am I gonna reply to them with like Nazi trains or whatever? No, you know why? Because they want America to be more like France. You know what that means? They're probably some sockdom that I'm going to disagree with on taxes or something, and that's going to be that. But Heem, you've seen the discourse on Reddit. You've seen the discourse.
Listen, yeah,
on Twitch.
I have.
You've seen the discourse on Twitch. What is it always in reference to? It's not in reference to the UK. I know you mentioned the UK. It's not in reference to France. I know you mentioned France. It's often not even in reference to Japan, who has the best rail system in the world. It's in reference to freaking China.
Who the fuck is rubbing this guy up the wrong way? I don't know. Oh shit. That is fucked. There is no way the only people who like trains are CCP stands, alright? Is he just talking about Hassan? Is that where this comes from? It's very likely. Damn. Hype train, chat. Get hyped.
A regime where they can come to your door because you.
I guess they should have. Yeah, you should have used the better example. Because you want to watch SpongeBob, or you want to watch Winnie the Pooh on YouTube, and now you're disappeared for the rest of your life. You're going to be raped and tortured in a black site somewhere. So this is a regime that has absolute power over 1.4 billion people without recourse because they have nukes and nobody can do anything against them. And this is a regime that, when they do these shiny trains, it's like,
what is he watching? Fucking couscous. Okay.
I made that meme of the two Wojaks where they're like, ooh, and it's like the Chinese high-speed rail, and one of them has like the hammer and sickle. It's like, ooh, look at their trains. It's basically to say, why can't we be like this? And what is implicit in that is, They're doing something better, so maybe we should learn from them, which we're a democracy and we don't have that, and they're a genocidal dictatorship and they do have that, so maybe we should become more like them. Again, if it were just we should be like France or Japan, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Bro, I don't think China's problems are owed to its trains. Like, I think if you remove the trains, you got all the same problems. Apart from they don't have trains. Bruh.
I take issue with the China apologetics, and when somebody says, as Rose did, basically, now she didn't explicitly say this, but it was implied, a genocidal state can do good things and bad things. She just said China, but we can say a genocidal state. She didn't say Taiwan. She was referring to the PRC under the CCP. Understand, in that context, bringing up the Holocaust trains is the only appropriate thing to do, because over 1 million Uyghurs were shoved onto these things and carted off to concentration camps, many of whom to be slaughtered there, women forced sterilized, gang raped, and this is well documented, by the way.
Obviously, of course.
So,
okay. All right. There you go. You said it all.
So now,
where is a good place to find? Is there any like place where there's like a compiled like report about the Uyghur genocide?
No.
Like, I know all the fucking like tanky dipshits will say that like Human Rights Watch or whatever is like a bad source, but I mean they'll use it for whatever suits them. But is it not that there were some leaked Chinese documents? And I know that their leaders have admitted that they're putting them in re-education centers. Like, I know that's been confessed to. Like, it's under the veil of counterterrorism, but
The Naru have not forgotten us. The kind
maybe want to have a look at it one day, just in case it ever comes up. And I think the other point is that the aerial photographs are kind of showing that they're constantly expanding. But, anyway.
no, I'm not going to big up a genocidal regime when they build infrastructure. It's in the service of evil. So.
Got it.
Jesus.
What are your other most hated countries?
Well, I don't hate the country of China. I think China's really cool. I like a lot of their food, and I like the hard working aspect of that.
No, but what other
population.
regimes? Like,
Hard working, because they being forced to with the trained people. Uh-oh. Yeah. Hard-working, trained genocide movers. How did he say? He said he couldn't big up anything about China. Now he's talking about they're hardworking and they got good food, right? Bro, I don't know. Like, the trains are not the problem with China. Like, they got... Oh, God.
I guess list off your worst, most hated regime.
It's like, you know, the Soviets got into space first, right? It's because they were, you know, they were ahead at that one point. I don't think you really took anything away from how bad they were, because we acknowledged that they were putting fucking people in space.
Safe travel.
I don't know.
In spite of the absolute barbarity that they have had to live under since the 40s with the CCP, the Chinese people are incredibly resilient and continue to press on despite having basically...
The Chinese people are pretty restive against the government as well. Like, don't they have like fucking strikes and protests and shit like that like all the time? I know that was a problem like about 10 years ago. I don't know if it still is.
No hope of ever overthrowing this system.
I just want to know. I'm not asking about the culture. I'm not. You're gish galloping. I just want to know what other countries are anti.
China deserves human rights.
Bro, this guy. This motherfucker cannot have a conversation. Holy shit. What's his fucking problem? Whoa.
China deserves freedom.
I agree. I agree. I want to know what other regimes.
Uh-oh. Fighter First has come out of the shadows to stand up for his beloved. Give him a gifted sub, quick. We gotta assimilate them. We gotta re-educate them. All right.
What other regimes do you hate? What other regimes do you hate?
All enemies of humanity.
Let me list them. Just give me a few.
Sure. The Korean Workers' Party, Kim Jong-il, the Kim dynasty.
Kim Jong-il is dead, my friend. I guess he he got one.
In North Korea, I despise that. That is an enemy of all freedom-loving people. Bashar the Butcher in Syria slaughtered over 200,000 Syrians and forced 8 million of them to flee. Yeah,
who else? I know you don't need to give me the whole spiel.
Vladimir Putin in Russia, who absolutely completely, you know, I'm not a fan of the UN, but even the UN said that Grozny under Putin was the most bombed out city in the world, and they tend to be an institution that's pretty pro-Russia in terms of their.
Is it true you want to?
Even they understand him. Even they pointed out how Grozny was out.
You know, he said Kim Jong-il, who came between Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-un. Yeah. I wonder, hey. Does Kevin Castley remember the hullabalore? Come on.
Absolutely pummeled by Putin. And look, you asked me what regimes. I would say,
I know, but you're going on and on.
Ayatollah in Iran. Look, I got a question for you, Heem. For you, Heem. One of my supporters sent me some clips, so maybe it was taken out of context. So I want to give you the chance to expand on.
Oh my God. To be honest, though, imagine debating someone who says, I have a clip. Now, maybe it's out of context. Oh, God. Imagine talking to someone like that. That would be so nice. Now, maybe this fucking 17-second clip, maybe it's out of context. I just want to ask you about imagine that. Damn, that is revolutionary internet discourse right there.
On the context here, but there was like this 30-second clip of you. I don't know, it must have been pretty recent because I think it was in regards to the train thing, but you were saying like how I like love war and I love tanks and all this stuff and everything, and it's like do you actually believe that I love war? You think I love war?
Yeah, don't you you want to go to preemptive war and stuff, don't you?
But you think I love it. You think it's something like I enjoy.
No, but you don't think it's something that's like a last resort kind of thing.
Well, why do you think I want to go to preemptive wars? Why do you think that?
I don't know, because you think that they can't be, because you think that these kind of
these bastards
conflicts can't be resolved through diplomacy.
Well, we have a historical record of how that's gone in North Korea.
Yeah, but just because it's gone poorly, it's gone poorly in the past, it doesn't mean it can't go better in the future.
Yeah, you brought up Einstein earlier. I'll bring up Einstein now. Trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity.
Except it's not the same thing over and over again. You try different tactics. Wait one sec. There's different leaders in charge, right? Like before Trump tried to, like the leadership changes, the circumstances change.
Morph Twitch is not subscribed, chat. Get him sped up. Get him initiated. They need to get assimilated into the chat. We have an outsider.
Circumstances of the people, they might be more desperate because of the sanctions have hurt their population more. For example, I'm just going to use Iran as an example, okay? Because I'm from Iran, I have family that lives in Iran still. Since the nuclear deal was ripped up by Trump, groceries have gone up and tripled in price. Groceries, just regular groceries, have tripled in price. Meat consumption, rice consumption, both are down like 50-60%. So yeah, you're saying trying the same thing over and over again and failing, but it's not the same thing because material conditions of the people don't stay the same.
Material conditions, baby.
So North Korea is a.
That is probably one of the first times I've ever heard someone use the word material conditions in like a way that made sense. That's incredible. Wow.
Is what I was talking about. We can talk about Iran, but I want to talk about North Korea because you're mentioning sanctions and stuff.
And it came from a lib. Ooh.
North Korea, the Kim regime under Kim Jong-un's dad, Kim Jong-il, he explicitly continued the cycle with America of like, ooh, we'll negotiate with them, we'll get concessions, and then we'll break our agreement and then just do it all over again. We'll start a crisis and then get concessions. This is a tactic that they've actually bragged about on multiple occasions, how they basically provoke a crisis so that they can get aid from the US, and then they make a deal to like, ooh, not enrich uranium or not do crazy stuff or whatever, and then they go back on that and then do the cycle over again when there's a new president in charge. Usually it happens to be the other way around. These regimes, whether they have different leaders, they have a continuing goal of enriching themselves and consolidating their own power.
Every regime has that
we
goal.
tend to have different leaders that have different relationships to them. They tend to be pretty monolithic.
Sure, I don't disagree. Sure, I don't disagree. But because our system change, our situation changes, and the material conditions of the people.
Material conditions.
So North Korea, 30 years of doing basically the same attempt, from the six-party talks to the the arms treaties and stuff back in the 90s, the discussions that Clinton and had with Kim Jong-il, all these different things that, I mentioned the six-party talks. We can even go to Obama with some of the like nuclear summits and stuff, or
yeah.
meetings.
It hasn't worked.
Here is that 30 years of trying the same thing over and over again, and North Korea saying, haha, psych. They went from being a country that didn't have nukes and didn't have long-range missiles to being a country that has a lot of nukes and has long-range missiles. So we actually don't have the time for this this patty cakes.
Do you think if a country, do you think if they have nukes that it's a good idea to go to war with them?
My original question to you, Heem, was, do you think I love war? And you said, well, I think you go to it first rather than trying these other things. But I'm telling you here, we've been trying diplomacy with these regimes for decades. With the Ayatollah, the diplomacy has started almost since 79. With North Korea, it goes back to the 80s. And it yielded absolutely.
Bro, why did the Ayatollah become a thing? The Ayatollah got popular because Iran was being run by a fucking gangster dictatorship of the Shah that was backed by the US and the UK and shit. Oh god. And also trains, that's true.
Nothing.
Wait, hang on.
Stronger, and their arsenal getting bigger, and their range is getting longer.
Okay, so the question, there's a couple questions here, okay? The one question is,
so you think I love war?
I think you love war a little bit.
You think I love war? So understand something. See, that's why I wanted to bring that up.
You're surprised I think that?
I find that, honestly, look, I know we disagree, but you, as you said, you are a radiation physicist. So like, I took physics. I loved physics in high school. I took a couple physics courses in university, even though I was an economics major. I always liked physics. If physics at university, even first year, it's pretty tough to be specifically a radiation physicist, to like focus on this. You have to be smart to get there, because you don't get there being stupid. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
You have to be intelligent.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty intelligent.
Which means that can rule out one of the two alternative possibilities here. The first is you're dumb and you think that because I've advocated
this is how fucking dads talk to people. Oh no.
For war, I must like it because there's no nuance. Or two, you're smart enough, but you want to brand me in bad faith. And I
don't think I'm being bad faith.
And I believe you are smart enough. I believe you're a smart person. And it's either profoundly disappointing that you could believe that I do love war, or I think,
can I explain?
You don't like my side, and you don't want my side getting more popular, so you want.
No, I don't. Listen, if I didn't wait, listen, Kevin. If I didn't wait one second. If I didn't want your, if I cared,
believing that you can't grasp the concept.
If I cared,
I have a hard time believing that.
One sec.
I don't think you're.
Okay, let me explain. Okay. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain.
Straw man.
So
pivot.
First of all, I don't mind you coming and sharing your opinions, because if I did, I would have avoided having a conversation with you. I don't mind that at all. It's not about you sharing your opinions. I'm glad you're sharing your opinions.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because, to me, war and dropping nukes in particular, which I've heard you advocate for a lot in the past.
Make war, not trains. I need a meme. I need a meme of this guy shouting, and it says, make war, not trains. Please. Oh God.
on Dylan's panels and whatnot. Preemptive nuking.
A lot. I've advocated for it in one case. And okay,
in one case, the one case I heard that made maybe not
military bunkers. So
okay, so I think
low yield.
I think that despite the fact that some of these regimes, like the Ayatollah or the North Korean regime, are horrible and extremely oppressive, which they undoubtedly are, that's why I left Iran, that the solution isn't necessarily to remove them,
vote with your feet,
but to liberalize them, to open trade with them a little bit, and to show the people that like there are better options available to you if you show them, hey, look, we can have okay relationships, we're not going to starve them. So like there are ways that, for example, the Iran nuclear deal was extremely good for relations between Iran and the US. Do you disagree?
How do I get down here?
There's a lot to get into here. I'm not gonna dodge your question because I have a very explicit answer to it, but I think
okay,
it would distract.
Okay,
I think it would.
You can come back to it. I'll ask again.
I think it would distract.
Okay, so let me continue then. Okay, let me continue.
Which is already loaded with a very unintelligent misconception that I think you should be better than. So I think we need to address that first.
Okay, so let me just finish my let me just finish
jump.
So my thing is
of look,
no, but you gotta let me finish.
Liberalization.
This is perfectly safe.
We tried that in China, and then they did Tiananmen Square, and now look at them. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like giving the theory.
And how about bombing Afghanistan? How did that go?
Heem. The theory is the bully, the dictator is a mean guy, and we want to pacify him and make him stop being such a brute. So instead of him coming up to us or coming up to whoever and demanding the lunch money, or they beat the crap out of you, we're just going to try, hey, look, we'll just give you the lunch money that you always demand from us each day, and you can have more money. This is a direct investment here. We'll work with you, and you'll liberalize, right? Is that bully now going to be a nice charity homeless feeding guy? No, he's going to be a douchebag who's going to go and buy a nice watch, right?
This is your analysis. This is your tier of analysis.
He's going to be a richer bully, Heem. That's what we did with China.
Do you think China, hang on, let me ask you. Do you think China, wait one sec.
Do you think China, what we did with Russia?
Do you think China
work?
Do you think China, you got to let me talk a little bit.
Heem, free trade with slave states is unfathomably counterproductive.
Do you think that China and Russia even are more liberal now than they have been in the past?
No.
The people living there,
And in fact, Russia and China, funny enough, Russia and China were both arguably more liberal in 1987 than they are today. I'm not even joking. I'm not.
So you think that
I wonder what this guy would have to say about us trading with Saudi Arabia. He hasn't mentioned that. It's all states that are like already kind of opponents of the US, which is, he hasn't mentioned ones that we're friends with.
The people that, for example, access to internet,
fucking LCC and shit,
and which I know China has censorship and stuff, but you know they still have access to internet, more movement of information, and like more movement of people. You think that this hasn't resulted in slightly more liberalization of these countries?
It's resulted in the CCP being able to.
No, that's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. No. Answer my yes or no. Yes or no? Do you think that the average person in China and in Russia are more liberal now than they have been in the past?
Well, but there's a difference between the person and the regime.
Well, no, I'm asking about the person.
Well, no. But the person doesn't matter because they
there's a reason.
This isn't a democracy.
There's a reason.
Don't actually have an effect.
There's a reason.
The person does matter because regimes like this can't last forever if all the people are like completely opposed to them, right? Like, or at odds with them.
I'm asking. Wait, just go with me. There's a reason I'm asking about it. So, do you think that the average Russian person or the average Chinese person is probably more liberal today than they would have been in the past?
When we say the past, we got to have a finite like time span. So if we say then the 1300s, then the
19... the 80s is like a really dumb comparison. Like, oh god,
50, 60, 70 years ago.
Well, even that's a pretty big range. Can we just go with perestroika era in like late 1980s?
Why?
Can we compare
Why
it
can't
to
we
the
go?
1980s?
Why? That was
Because China and the Soviet Union were actually both more liberal then than they are now under Xi Jinping and Putin. Even though they were, look, I'm telling you, even though they were
the government,
less access,
but the people. I'm asking about
our
the people.
investment. So to answer your question about the people today are more educated. Well, that one's tough. Russia's always been very educated. Russians have always been a very educated population. In fact, statistically speaking, the most educated population in the world from 4-year degree standpoint.
Answer the question.
And in China, like, here's the thing, right? Like, you ask a question like this, it requires a thought out response. So you can't just do buzzwords, right? I know this is Twitch and we like to do buzzword debates and stuff, but these actually require sophisticated responses. The fact of the matter is, the average person in China might be, it probably is to some extent, slightly more open-minded. I'm not even going to say liberal, but at least open-minded to the world.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. All right.
No. But
let me go to the next step.
That's not the end of the answer.
Let me go to the next step.
Heem, these require sophisticated responses. So you have to give me time to expand on what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the average Chinese person or the average Russian person is more open to experience now than they were in 1987. That's not even really true in Russia, but in China, let's just go with that. Okay. They also
Can
have
I ask the next question?
They also have substantially less impact on their government than they did in 1987.
Okay. Can I ask the next question?
It's incredibly irrelevant because the butchers.
It's not. Let me tell you why.
Let
me tell you. Okay. So you agreed with me. After all of that, you said yes.
No, I didn't really agree with you. Because the regime can control everything they do.
I asked about the people, though. I didn't ask about the regime. You didn't even let me get to the regime. You didn't even let me get to the next part. You didn't even let me get to. I'm gonna address that.
Okay.
I was only talking about the people.
Well, we have to take these in parts.
I know, but you keep bringing up the regime when I was asking about the people first. Now I'm going to talk about the regime.
Dictatorship. If you don't mention the regime, you're remiss.
I'm gonna. That's the next part. Kevin. That's the next part. That's the next part that I'm about to talk about now. My idea is that if you are able to drive the population towards more liberalism, that eventually they will put the pressure on their government to enact changes. They will either incite a revolution or protest in the streets, which is exactly what happens in Iran as the people continue to get more and more liberal.
And they got slaughtered.
One second. As the people continue to get more and more liberal, they start to protest more and more, take more risks. Women are taking their hijabs off now, and they continue to push this envelope. Eventually, that regime will break from the pressure. No. Yes, they do commit these. They do fucking. You said slaughter. They do. But you know what's worse? Dropping a nuke on them.
I've never advocated for nuking.
Not
civilians.
Iran, but wait. You think who are you gonna nuke? Just Kim Jong-un himself?
No, he's in a populated area.
So then who are you gonna nuke?
So have you ever you mentioned the regime. I want to get to that, and then we'll get to the target list. So we have to take this in parts. So on the point about the regime, right? You said, well, you believe that if we just liberalize these places, in other words, expand trade with them, open up that sort of stuff, that then the population gets more liberal, and then they apply pressure on the regime, and then the regime collapses. You're only considering one side of the equation, which is that the people now are slightly more open to experience in the human condition than they were before. What you're missing is that now that you've invested so much money and have all this corporate connection into the regime has far more funds to fund their security and surveillance apparatus than they did before. So what this means is that it was actually easier to do a revolution under Mao Zedong against the CCP than it is today, because Mao Zedong did not have the surveillance of the internet and of all this stuff and of business that.
Couldn't you also say that the internet gives you more room for subversion as well, though? Mao Zedong? I don't know. So there was more chance for surveillance in the 2010s, and then the Arab Spring happened. So,
that Xi Jinping has access to. We financed that.
No, that's just technology increasing over time. Kevin, that's just tech. Kevin, that is just technology increasing over time.
No, it's not because guess what? There are countries
They wouldn't
out
have
there-
had webcams?
No, it's not just technology, because there are countries out there that we don't really do much trading with, that are dictatorships like Turkmenistan, that can't really afford this crap. China can afford this crap because
Turkmenistan, there we go. Yeah, big crazy Turkmenistan. It's all coming full circle now. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna keep an eye out on Twitter more often for weird opinions. That's what we need. All right.
because we finance it. We do big.
Do you think that tech has anything to do with?
So there are dictatorships out there like Eritrea that they can't monitor their people 24/7 and all their thoughts and behaviors.
That's because China is one of the richest countries in the world.
Why? They used to be one of the poorest because
why?
Them.
Kevin, why? You tell me. No. One sec. Why?
For that.
Why?
That is with our money.
Kevin.
Because our neoliberal establishment wanted to make a quick buck and they put money over morality.
Do you think?
They did
Hang on
free
one
trade
sec,
with
please.
China
You
rather
gotta let
than
me talk.
Fix the problem once and for all.
Do you
and
think?
Liberate that country.
Oh,
Do you
he's
think
getting
that having a
spoken over
massive
so hard
population
here.
has anything to do with it?
No, because back under Mao Zedong, when they had about 600 million people, and they had one of the low.
I mean, China did advance. Like, China was like barely unified when Mao came to power. So like, what? It's not like fucking Xiaoping came and took over just like this fucking scattered mess in the 80s. Okay.
Lowest GDPs basically anywhere outside of sub-Saharan Africa. They had less funds than like medium-sized European countries. So your population doesn't matter as much as your economy. Their economy their economy was broke. I can't believe you're a radiation physicist and you don't understand this, that if we invest in them for 40 years and give them trillions of dollars, that
Sure, that had something to do with it, of course.
People might be more liberal by your definition, but they have far less ability to have any hope of ever overthrowing that regime, because now that regime can afford to be in their heads. That regime is rich as flip, dude, and we
hang on one second. Do you think it's a coincidence that of the top 10 countries in the world economically, that China is in there, India is in there, Brazil is in there, that these are countries with some of the highest populations, and they have...
You know who else is in there? Name the list, Heem.
It's United States, China, Japan, Germany, United Kingdom, France, India, Italy, Brazil, Canada.
Yeah, so do you know how many... We both live in Canada. How many people are there, Heem?
38 million, I think.
So about 2.5% the population of China. Okay.
What does that have to do with it?
Seriously? Come on, dude. You're
because
a
wait,
physicist.
no, hang on.
Come on, follow me, dude.
No,
follow me.
Wait, one sec. Population. Wait, one sec, Kevin. You're actually being super bad faith right now. You're being bad faith.
Absolutely matters.
It has
dude.
no. We're not looking at GDP per capita.
No. You listed off that list.
True. All these countries have trains. Someone tell him that all those countries have fucking trains. Oh no.
List of the top
do you think
10.
it's a why do you think
you Heem, you listed off that list of the top 10. There are countries on that list that have fewer than 40 million people.
What's your
like
point?
France
Your point?
And Canada. My point is, you can't just say, well, that's because they have a bigger population.
That's not what I said. I said that's one of the big. Wait, that's one of the big reasons. That's one of the big reasons.
Better economy. Look, if that were true, then why why don't dictatorships that have a far higher population than Canada and France have a bigger economy? It might be because actual liberal democracies have a far better effect on economic output.
Isn't a lot of this to do with, like, I feel like such a clown saying it because it's so obvious, but like kind of to do with imperialism and shit, while the rest of the world was just like really poor? And not to mention, like, with the United States, it was a lot to do with World War II, yeah. But the fact that we basically treated, like, that Europe treated Africa and the fucking, like, global south as a fucking extraction unit for hundreds of years. No, it must have been the liberal democracy that did that. Oh, God.
Listen, I'm just pushing back on the fact that you...
Yeah, all those other countries are Commonwealth countries, like... Yeah.
Said that, oh, because now China is able to have a police state because or surveillance state because of the investments that the rest of the world has given to them. I'm saying that the reason that they have such a strong economy, yes, has to do with the investments, but a big part of it is their massive population. And secondly, wait, let me finish. Wait, you have to let me finish. You have to let me finish. Secondly, the fact that they have a surveillance state now is because of the advancements in technology that has happened all across the world. Of course, 50, 60 years ago, they weren't able to have a surveillance state like they are now. Webcams didn't cost $20 like they cost now.
Heem, then why doesn't a similarly authoritarian dictatorship like North Korea or like Eritrea have the same technologically advanced surveillance state that China does?
Because China...
Yeah, the Heem is really holding too tightly onto the population thing. That doesn't actually explain it, like... Now, I'm pretty sure, like... Xiaoping's economic reforms were pretty, like, supported and subsidized by the United States, weren't they? Am I wrong about that? Because it was all about promoting free markets and shit. China. And Obama, true.
China also is one of the biggest economies. They have the funds for it.
Okay.
Because they were able to put their population to work, and they have a massive population. And they used
to be one of the smallest. So,
yes.
So understand. So you think it was all just because of them? Who do you think gave them the business?
I never said all because of them. Wait, I never said all because of them. And it wasn't just the US. It was literally the rest of the world. Manufacturing is cheapest there. The rest of the world.
And we could have gone with India. We could have gone anywhere. But
we go to India as well. India is also 7th largest economy in the world, and they have less technology and whatnot than China does even.
Yeah. You see, okay, now you're starting to get it. We're in the same current year,
now
but different countries have different access to technology. So you can't just say it's because of population and technology. It's because of access. Look, let's just be real. The biggest factor is access to Western capital investment.
It's not just Western capital investment. It's world. It's the rest of the world.
There's a reason why. But most of the rest of the world are dictatorships, so I don't really care.
Capitalizing on the Sino-Soviet split, yeah. Okay.
Dictatorships enrich other ones, of course. That's what they do. So, like dictatorship roots are gonna deal with each other. I don't care. The West should be held to a higher standard, and so that's why we distinguish there. But so free trade with slave states doesn't make sense. But slave states trading with slave states, yeah, I get it. They're all anti-liberal. But on the point about population, India and China have almost the same population, yet India is significantly poorer despite having a very industrious population just like China does. So what explains the difference there? What explains that?
Hey, Bobby Duke the Bobby with the tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. Listen, I'm noticing a few unsubs in the chat. Okay, we're gonna catch them up, all right? You know?
It is the access to Western capital.
Well, listen,
for the last 40 years.
It's not just that. There's a lot of other factors as well, like China.
What's the biggest factor?
Sorry.
The biggest factor is access to Western investment. Companies like Nike saying that they're out of China.
Wait, they go to India as well.
They do, but not in the same numbers, not anywhere near the same numbers. Nike, John Danahoe, the CEO of Nike, said in a CNBC interview earlier this year, he said, quote, "We are a company."
Whoa. Bobby Juke the Bobby with a 10 gifted tier 1 subs. Holy shit. Thank you so much. Wow. We having a good successful stream. I see it.
Of China for China, unquote. He didn't say we're a company of India for India. He didn't say we're a company of America for America. He said we're a company of China for China. And he said that on a US business network.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Let's refocus. We're getting a little off topic. And listen, we've come a long ways from train.
Was you thought that if we just liberalize these countries and reach out to them, then they'll become more democratic.
Well,
in
no,
China,
I don't. Wait, one second. So one second.
I don't. Hang on. Consolidated.
To be honest,
theory doesn't. It's not borne out by the evidence, Heem. It's just a theory. It's a hypothesis, and it's gone nowhere.
Wait, one second.
Wrong.
So
the
my
neoliberal establishment has been completely disproven.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Let's say, and let's go back to the Iran example, because that's the one I'm more familiar with. In Iran, they had a horrible.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to get into these foreign policy discussions, you need to know a little bit more. Like, foreign policy is really hard. Every country is like pretty complex. Yeah. Dylan would never say stuff this stupid. Well, yeah, Dylan's like pretty to the left when it comes to international foreign policy, though. This guy, I'm not too sure. Yeah. Like, I don't see why he's getting this idea that like aggression can just democratize countries. I guess this guy probably thinks that like Iraq was a success or some shit, right? Like, yeah. If I'm guessing, I need to go here. Oh, boat! Dylan debated him on whether or not we should invade North Korea. Whoa. I can't remember which. It might have been a streamer I heard it from. Maybe I just read it. Basically, there's this tanky meme that's like, oh, China's never invaded anywhere. Like, people slagging off Chinese aggression. They're just xenophobic or whatever. But then I think someone was saying that the only reason China doesn't invade countries that are in its proximity are because they're backed by the West. Who the fuck was saying that? Who was saying that? Someone said the reason that China doesn't invade South Korea is just because the United States is there. Like, otherwise China would just invade South Korea. Who is it that said that? I don't know.
Relationships with the US, and then they signed the nuclear deal, and things got a lot better in Iran for the people of Iran. The things dropped in price a little bit.
Isn't North Korea a buffer state? Yeah, North Korea is a buffer state. Yeah. You can make the reverse argument for the US invading the North. Wait, the North of where? North Korea. Yeah, true. You definitely can.
And the currency picked up a little bit of ground. And things were improving. Again, going by my theory that they were getting more liberalized, they were getting more access to American, social media, American culture, American music, movies, so on and so forth. And I think that, like, had that continued in that path, even if the Islamic Republic remained, the Ayatollah, whatever, they remained, that if Iranian people could live better lives, if, let's say, they were like, hey, listen, the women, they really don't want to wear hijabs anymore, and they're like really pushing back against it, we'll drop the mandatory hijabs, but we're still in charge. But, and life goes on. Is that horrible? Like, you have to replace the regime. You can't have a situation where the regime is in power and people are living okay lives.
So I understand. I don't actually advocate for overthrowing every regime. I've said very explicitly before, if we can pressure them into reforming, then we can avoid a war. I've said that about Saudi Arabia, for example. The problem is there are a couple factors with Iran that make this not likely to work out. The first factor that we have to consider here is the nature of the regime and the objectives of the regime. The second factor that we have to consider is the historical example. And actually the third factor, there are three factors that I want to talk about here, is the geopolitics of what they're doing and how that impacts other people in the region, like Iraqis or Yemenis or Syrians or Lebanese people that have suffered as a result of Iranian, the empire of blood, basically across the region, the Shiite crescent, as they call it, which is just a bunch of puppet states that Iran finances. Anyway, I want to talk about this. So what is likely to happen if we look at the record of how it went in China? Okay, so we do a lot of trade, the regime gets massive boosts to their economy, and yeah, there's a protest. You have like students or women or something that go out and protest. Well, what's the analogy to that? What did they do in China? What did they say? Oh, well, we got a good relationship with America now. Let's stay in power, but let's appease the students and give them some reforms. No, they send in the tanks and they just butcher Tiananmen Square. So what do they do in Iran? They would do very similar.
That's not just not true though, because that's just not true. That's just not true. I'm gonna give you a historical example. Let me give you a. Can I give you? Wait. Can I give you a historical example or no? So in Iran, women, when the Islamic Republic first came into being, women had to wear very strict hijabs. Okay, over time,
didn't they have to wear full burqas, like the ones that covered the face as well, with the little like seeing holes? Because there's a difference between like the hijab and the burqa. Like an actual burqa is the one that you barely ever see, because it's like a net. You can't even really see their eyes. Like, so I think, yeah, that's the burqa. But you don't really see that one very often. And the niqab is one where you see the eyes, and then the hijab is the one where you can see the whole face.
That has loosened a lot with the liberalization of the general public, and now women, they can show their hair, they just have to wear like a little hijab, and over time it has gotten more and more laxed. So there's a historical example of where you're wrong, where they've said, hey, listen, in order to stay in power, we need to appease them a little bit. Yeah, that includes reforms. It's not just.
Yeah, but didn't it used to be the middle one? Was it ever the full burqa that was mandated? I don't think that's true. I think it was the niqab and then it became the hijab.
Rolling tanks over and killing people. It's actual reforms that can take place.
Yeah, as they've continued for the last 40 years to just execute people accused
I'm not defending the regime. I'm just showing you an example of.
Wait, does this guy want to invade Iran? What does he? Afghanistan, yeah, it was Afghanistan.
They're very minor.
That's what I thought.
Very minor
aesthetic, it might be minor to you, but it's not to the people who live there.
I understand. But what I'm saying is that this is still a deeply theocratic.
I agree. But if people can live, but my point is, if people can live happily, then I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, but it's not really a happy life because it's all at the grace of the dictator, and they can change their mind at any point. And understand something here. Okay, so the second factor here is the nature of the regime.
Understand something.
So what's the nature and the objective of Xi Jinping, for example? Well, his objective is to consolidate power, extend his control over all of China, culturally hegemonize the entire country, and have absolute authority and make himself Mao 2.0, basically. That's like his objective, and in a rational sense it makes sense. If you're like a dictator, that makes sense. You want to do that. What's the Ayatollah? What's that system? What is their end goal? What do they want to?
Yeah, like this guy should debate Bad Empanada, shouldn't he? Can you imagine? I don't feel like either of them would stop speaking though.
Do
just they remain in power?
Do they want to be around in power in a million years? No, they want to go out in a blaze of glory and nuke Israel. That's their objective. That's the point.
No, I don't think so.
And they view their country, their people, as just a vassal that they can oppress and rob to finance that project, that ambition to destroy the Jews. Basically.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I guess I just have to agree to disagree.
You haven't been paying attention.
No, I've heard the rhetoric. No, I've heard the rhetoric. I've heard the rhetoric. I just don't think that is their goal to actually do that. They also say death to America. That doesn't mean that they're getting ready to go.
Wait, who spoke about nuking Israel? Who the fuck said that? Did he say Iran was going to nuke Israel? What? Wait, did I miss something there? There's no fucking way he believes that. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anyone say on this fucking platform. Okay, let's see. Let's go back a little bit.
LA, Toronto, New York, right? These sorts of areas. I'm talking about like in the future in the context of planning out cities, if we could do it all over again.
Wait, this is trains. This is not the right debate. Shit. It's because they both have the same. Fuck. All right, here.
Go to.
All right, let's go.
That's their objective. That's the point of the
No,
regime.
I don't think so.
And they view their country, their people, as just a vassal that they can oppress and rob to finance that project, that ambition to destroy the Jews, basically.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I guess I just have to.
So he said destroy the Jews. Like, I'm pretty, yeah, like the Iranian leader's a fucking Holocaust denier and shit. Let's carry on.
So you haven't been paying attention.
No, I've heard the rhetoric. No, I've heard the rhetoric. I've heard the rhetoric. I just don't think that is their goal to actually do that. They also say death to America. That doesn't mean that.
Was it before this he said that? Fuck. Shit. Let's go back a wee bit then. 39. Go back 38. Okay.
Objectives of the regime. So what's the nature and the objective of Xi Jinping, for example? Well, his objective is to consolidate power, extend his control over all of China, culturally hegemonize the entire country, and have absolute authority and make himself Mao 2.0, basically. That's like his objective. And in a rational sense, it makes sense. If you're like a dictator, that makes sense. You want to do that. What's the Ayatollah? What's that system? What is their end goal? What do they want to do?
Just remain in power.
Do they want to be around in power in a million years? No, they want to go out in a blaze of glory and nuke Israel. That's their That's the point of the regime.
What? Bro, like, even if you are like a full fucking one-state Palestinian supremacist, you still wouldn't be in favor of nuking Israel. Because they would say, you can't nuke Israel because Israel is Palestine. You'd be nuking Palestine. Like, how fucking stupid do you have to be? Like, holy shit. What the fuck? Nuke Israel is also code for get nuked yourself, because Israel's got like 100 fucking nuclear warheads. I don't know. I don't know about this one, boss.
I don't think so.
And they view their country, their people, as just a vassal that they can oppress and rob to finance that project, that ambition to destroy the Jews.
Like, if I want to steal, man, like, there are some examples of rhetoric that sounds like that. Like, I think it was Nasrallah from Hezbollah. I'm pretty sure there's a quote from him actually saying that the only like pro of Israel basically is that it's succeeding in rounding up all the Jews in one place. That is like a Hezbollah quote, but that doesn't mean that. Fuck, I need to find that actually. I know it's a real quote. Like, I know it's not one of those mistranslations or whatever. Like, he actually just said, like, but. Yeah, I can't believe Iran watches Vosh. Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I guess I just have to agree to disagree.
You haven't been paying attention.
No, I've heard the rhetoric. No, I've heard the rhetoric. I've heard the rhetoric. I just don't think that is their goal to actually do that. They also say death to America. That doesn't mean that they're getting ready to go to war with America. That's dumb as fuck.
So they don't really have the capacity yet to do that in any.
They wouldn't have the capacity to. Why would they go to war with Israel when Israel is backed by the United States?
Because unlike Xi Jinping, for the Ayatollah, death is the goal. It's not a. It's not.
Well, they've said this. Where are you getting this from?
No.
Where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from?
The Ayatollah regime, that regime, they want to be martyrs. They want to go out in a nuclear blaze of glory. So at the same time,
this is so fucking stupid. Like, you're talking about a regime, like I don't know. I think like the idea that you're just kind of painting people with these like fucking like mad like radical brushes is just like, it's so weird. Like, they're a fucking functioning state with lots of power and influence, and like, I don't know. It's like, you know how we had Reagan in the White House, even though that motherfucker literally believed in the second coming, and that guy had his finger on the button for fucking years, and he didn't do anything. It's because, yeah, like, there's a whole like system in there that actually has like its own rationale and its own. Yeah, it's kind of just like, it's kind of just racism. I don't know. Huh.
Time that all of the JCPOA stuff was actually in place, there were murals set up by the regime in around Iran, not in English. Like their English propaganda is all, yeah, we want peace and let's make a deal, but their Farsi propaganda is, we're gonna nuke the Jews, basically.
I've heard the propaganda. I know, I've heard the propaganda, but do you think that they would actually do it?
I mean, does that mean Hezbollah are gonna nuke Israel as well because they've said similar shit? Like, what? Oh god. Oh my god, this is so dumb. This is actually like painfully dumb now. He's finally mentioned a part of the world I know a bit more about, and I can just be like, okay, now I see. Yeah. I don't see. Oh fuck.
You think that they would actually they don't care about the history of Iran? They're not prideful about Iran continuing to exist. They don't know that if they do that to Israel, they don't know that if they do that to Israel, that America's gonna wipe Iran out. They don't know that.
No, they do know. Like, they know that Israel has weapons that would fucking ram the shit out of Iran. Oh god, this is like, it's ironic because I feel like my fucking brain has just been nuked a little bit. You know, the little tactical nuke has just been fired off into my head.
No, they use Iranian chauvinism and like ethnic chauvinism and appeal to the tradition and all that sort of stuff to legitimize the Ayatollah as basically the inheritor of like this historic
I don't care about that. I'm talking about, do they actually care about the preservation of the Iranian people and Iran as a heritage and tradition, or they don't care? They just only want to go against Israel.
This is a regime that sent 1 million people to die in World War I waves and human waves against Iraq. This is a regime that would send every single one of its.
Is this Iranian regime the same one as the from 1917? Bro, are you listening to yourself? Did he say 1917? Wait. Iraq. He didn't say no, wait. The Iraq-Iran war, is that where 1 million Iranians died? What the fuck is he talking about? I thought that was in the... Was it... What? Wait, maybe I misheard it.
It's people regime that.
No, I don't care about that. I'm talking about, do they actually care about the preservation of the Iranian people and Iran as a heritage and tradition, or they don't care? They just only want to go against Israel.
This is a regime that sent 1 million people to die in World War I waves and human waves against.
Oh, World War I waves. Wait, I want to make sure I'm not. I think I. There's no way this is true if I remember correctly. Wait, no, it must. Wait. Wait. Okay. I wasn't wrong. Iraq attacked Iran. Didn't they? Didn't Saddam invade Iran? Wait. Was it Saddam or was it? Wait.
What's up? Hurry back.
Yeah, this was Iraq attacking Iran was it in response to the 73 revolution?
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, but that was Iran's fault for some reason.
Talk to me.
Was this a chemical weapons one as well, or was that just Kuwait? Yeah, this was chemical weapons attacks by Oh, it's from the Wikipedia. He's got it from the Wikipedia. The conflict has been compared to World War I in terms of the tactics used, including large-scale trench warfare with barbed wire stretched across 45 defensive lines, manned machine gun posts, bayonet charges, Iranian human wave attacks, extensive use of chemical weapons by Iraq, and deliberate attacks on civilian targets. Okay. 79, sorry, thinking of Chile, fuck. Okay.
You need something? See you later.
Good day to you. See you later.
I thought he was talking about 19... Okay. It's still kind of crazy, but let's go.
This is a regime. This is a regime.
How is it disingenuous if I corrected myself, Oracle of Buses? What? Makes a mistake. Correct self. Disingenuous. Okay, whatever, dude.
That would send every single one of
okay, thanks.
its people to death to accomplish its objective of destroying the Jews. And so this is a regime that has no...
Why haven't they done it yet? Why haven't they done it yet? Why haven't they just gone to war? Why haven't they gone to war? Why not go to war?
They don't have the nukes
Why
yet.
not go to war, Kevin? Why not go to war? Why not go to war?
That wouldn't accomplish the job. Israel would win a conventional war. But if they get
and they wouldn't win a nuclear war?
Vaporize Israel,
they wouldn't win a nuclear war?
But the point isn't to win, it's to kill the Jews. They don't care if they die. Dying is like...
Okay, we're back into the fucking crack pipe territory now, okay. Oh, shit. Wow.
So if
the
crystals
goal, it's like the reward. It's like they kill the Jews, and now as a reward, they get to go up to heaven in a nuclear.
You really think that
theocratic regime. This isn't. Look, I've got issues with communists, but communists they're not on a death wish. They're not out there to go to heaven tomorrow and please their God, right? Communists are more rational than the Ayatollah. Is my point. Sam Harris has talked about this, and I would suggest that you listen to Sam Harris because he very clearly distinguishes.
Sam Harris has talked about Muslims. Oh, no. Oh.
Hey.
So yes, Iran is a dictatorship like China and all these other ones, but its motivations, and when I say Iran, I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the Ayatollah regime, the supreme leader there, and the IRGC and everything. What they are doing, they're not motivated by how can we stay alive and in power as long as possible. They're motivated by how can we get enough weapons.
I have heard people describe Iran as like the liberator of Palestine, like, which is really dumb. But I feel like they're holding almost like the same position as this guy. Like it's weird. Like, I think some people try to compare it to. Fuck, there's this like I can't remember what the fuck they were called. There was one of them in my Discord not long ago. They basically thought that Iran would be like the new Cuba, like the way Cuba came in to fuck up the South African army. They think that like Iran's gonna do that for like the Palestinians and fucking invade Israel and take it over and shit. But I'm just, it's another horseshoe theory, you know. They believe that. This guy believes that times a billion with the nukes, like, yeah.
Weapons of mass destruction as soon as possible to wipe out Israel.
You don't think that their rhetoric, their push for nuclear weapons it has anything to do with defensive target goals, I guess?
Oh, it has to do with the defense because they want to keep the U.S. out so that they can build up enough nukes so that then they can attack.
So let me just get this real clear, okay?
If they get one, they can't do this. One
let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you. So you genuinely think, this is what you actually believe, that the Iranian government, if they had enough nukes tomorrow, they would press the button and nuke Israel?
Nuke
and essentially start World War III.
Leadership, the supreme leadership. Are average people in the Iranian
No, of course not
government
the average people. No, I'm saying the government. No, the government.
Bureaucrats, no, the Ayatollah regime. Does he want to be martyred in a nuclear war? Yes, absolutely. This regime cannot get nuclear weapons. I understand, like even a regime like North Korea.
I mean, listen, I don't
believe that North Korea is getting nukes with the intent to attack America with them. I think they want them as blackmail. But with Iran, it's so much more dangerous because it's not just about defense or blackmail for them. It's about doing.
Well, why do you say that? Because North Korea has
the closest analogy to the modern Nazis.
North Korea
want to kill as many Jews as possible with IEDs, the same way
North
Hitler
Korea
did,
has said the exact same thing about their nukes. They're going to come. They use the same rhetoric.
Yeah, but the difference there, right? The difference there is that North Korea is not on a religious conquest.
Who cares?
mission.
Why does it have to be religious? If they're on a mission to destroy America, why do you think?
Because if your motivations are by the afterlife rather than if you're a communist and you're motivated by material conditions here and now, your rashness is going to be a little bit different if you think you're going to be rewarded for eternity in Jannah if you nuke Israel, right? So
does he think the Ayatollah wants to nuke Israel so he can get 70 fucking virgins or whatever? Is that where he's going? Is that what he's about to? Oh shit. It's like he almost said it, didn't he?
So they have a different payoff grid than North Korea. North Korea, their payoff is their payoff is stay in power as long as possible. That's like how a rational dictatorship operates. An irrational dictatorship is motivated by religious objectives, things like martyrdom.
Have you ever considered that these guys? Have you ever considered?
I would suggest that you look into Sam Harris and what he's had to say about it.
I've heard
he's far
Sam
more
Harris
eloquent than I am. And
listen,
Sam Harris's entire position is. What we need to understand is that Muslims are fucking crazy. And a lot of people in the West are scared to say this, but I've looked into it and I've given it a lot of thought, and it turns out that in fact the Muslims are just fucking crazy. That's Sam Harris's contribution to anything in the Islamic world. Like that's it. That's all he's fucking got. Forgot to sell this shit, man. Fucking Sam Harris, bro. Ugh! Fuck up. Ugh. There you go.
Can I ask you a question? Do you ever consider the fact that maybe these guys are using religion just to hold the people down, but really they're grifters? Like a lot of these Ayatollah guys, they fucking get hookers and they drink alcohol. Do you think that they're genuine believers, or do you think that they're grifting and using that to control the people, and that maybe you're overblowing it a little bit?
Yeah, you got to distinguish between the elite in Tehran. Are there elites like kids and even some middle-aged elites in Tehran that cruise around in Porsches and drink alcohol and stuff? Oh yeah, you can go and watch the Vice videos.
No, even the
Ayatollah is not hooking up with hookers and supermodels and stuff. Come on, you have a source for that. No, he's actually developed.
Bro, this is the same way that like it's not the same way. Obviously, that's a bit more pronounced in Iran. But like Republicans will act a lot more Puritan during election cycles, and then not really act on it when they're in power. Like they promised to get rid of abortion rights like since the fucking 90s to win the vote to the South. And it took them this long to do it. It was fucking Trump that did it, of all people. So, yeah, Ayatollah Tate of Romania. Oh, God.
Have a good one.
Ayatollah Tate. Tate. Oh my God. We need the Andrew Tate Wojak, but like dressed up as the Ayatollah. Oh shit.
Devoutly religious man, and I want to underscore something here, which is to say, look, you can't treat materialist dictatorships and theocratic dictatorships in the same way. Now you ask, well, what if it's all just for rhetoric to stay in power? Okay, well that's a rational thing to do, but Iran has done irrational things that don't make any sense. So they have overextended themselves in the Middle East, from Lebanon to Gaza to Yemen, in a very dangerous and precarious way that's made their homeland vulnerable to invasion, because they haven't spent as much on their local conventional defenses. They spent
You need to be theocratically motivated to be irrational? Okay.
a lot of money financing these militias abroad.
Wait, sorry, who are you talking about?
So what I'm saying is
talking
that the
about
regime in
Iran.
Iran is not behaving in a rational manner. If they were a rational dictatorship that just wanted to stay in power as long as possible, they wouldn't be invading half of the Middle East. They wouldn't be like financing all these militias from Lebanon to Yemen. They would just be minding their own business, like Saudi Arabia, and getting rich. But they're not. They could be rich, but instead they're waging this empire of blood.
So
Why?
Saudi
Because
Arabia minds their own
They're
business?
motivated by
Bro, Saudi Arabia's in fucking Yemen. What are you talking about? What? Jesus. Can you say this about Russia as well? Like, sphere of influence, soy? Like, what?
religion above all else. Now in Saudi Arabia, they're also theocracy, but they're motivated by money above all else. And so that's why they're based on stability, and Iran is based on causing instability.
So you don't think Saudi Arabia is...
Okay, I don't know. I need to reassess my contribution to the white grievance panel. I'm becoming so fucking racist against white people now. The way these people talk about the Middle East is so disgusting. Like, as if like miscalculating your foreign policy or trying to like, it's like grow your fucking hegemonic influence is somehow like exclusive to fucking religious fanatics. What the fuck are you talking about? Holy shit.
Funding anything sketchy abroad and shit with the militias and so on.
Fuck this guy.
Well, they have militias that they'll fund, but generally speaking, those militias tend towards
favorable to U.S.
They tend towards stability in the Middle East. And one materialist reason for why Iran wants instability in the Middle East and why Saudi Arabia wants stability in the Middle East, even though they're both dictatorships and they both want to stay in power, is that the gas prices. Iran needs to have...
Yeah, Saudi Arabia fucking exporting Wahhabism all over the fucking world in a bid for stability. Yeah, okay. Oh, God. Oh, no. Why? I don't know. I feel like he's like 3 seconds away from being like, listen, dude, why can't the Middle East just get along, bruh? Why can't they just get along? Like, Middle East is about the size of the United States. Why can't they become the United States of Middle East, America? Gotta just get along, bruh. Oh, shit. Someone's gotta do it.
Much higher gas prices to break even than Saudi Arabia. So when things are nice and stable, gas is relatively cheap. Iran doesn't make as much money. If things are in chaos and there's terrorism all across the Middle East from Iranian militias, well, now gas prices are higher, ceteris paribus. So now Iran makes more money. That's the materialist frame of it. And I wrote a paper on that when I was in school. But
Jesus,
but
you did.
But to compare Iran and Saudi Arabia, even though they're both religious theocracies, Saudi Arabia is not serious about that rhetoric. Iran is, and you can see it because Saudi Arabia does behave as a rational dictatorship. Iran doesn't. They don't, and it's not even just for the sake of raising oil prices, because
so like when Saudi Arabia fucking chops up and butchers that fucking journalist, even though they're allied with the US, and like they're currently finding themselves having to lean towards China because the West is like fucking so like hesitant to give them what they want now in comparison. Fucking hell. The smoothest paper in the universe.
How would you deal with Iran?
Iran has signaled to us for the last 40 years that if they did have that arsenal, they would use it in a heartbeat. The Ayatollah would, absolutely. So
okay, so what do you think
those
you should do
guys
with Iran?
cruising around in Porsches, they might have a lot of money and connections, but they're not the ones actually calling the shots in Tehran.
I understand. I'm not talking about the glitzy Tehran party boys. I'm talking about even the elites, even the people in charge. They're full of corruption. They're fucking. They're not like these like holy religious like. He's not the Pope like level of religiousness. These guys, in my opinion, are just corrupt politicians that are masking as with religion just to stay in power and to get to that position. But anyways, what would you do with Iran? I want to
believe
know.
in that, Heem.
What would I do with Iran?
Yeah, would you go into a nuclear deal again, or do you think we should just let them like continue to starve them with sanctions? What do you think?
Well, I'm generally not a fan of sanctions for the simple reason that sanctions tend to hurt the poorest people with the least power first and the regime with the most power last. So I'm never really an advocate of sanctions unless in a couple of cases, namely China and Russia, where a war with them would be prohibitively costly. And I would never advocate for that. That would lead to a nuclear war, basically, a large-scale nuclear war. So we have to seek alternative means, and it puts us in a hard place because now we have to look at sanctions. And yeah, that's going to cause a lot of harm to a lot of innocent people. The fastest means is surgery. You go in, you remove the regime, and free the people. But you can't do that if they've got 8,000 nukes or hundreds of nukes. It's not gonna. So with Iran, to answer your question, I actually had a debate with a very, very condescending guy who was full of himself. This guy, Michael.
A really condescending guy. Who'd imagine? Who could that possibly? Yes.
I debated him a long time ago, debated him on Dylan Burns TV, and he and I had a little debate about this, and I basically argued what you do is you'd have to go into the southwestern, basically oil field rich area where the regime gets a lot of their income from to finance their war machine, occupy the oil fields there in Khuzestan basically, and then couple that with directed airstrikes against their military and command and control.
Oh, what's that in chat? That's someone asking for a gifty sub. Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm seeing it. I didn't have to say it, chat. Someone get on it. Someone fix a rubber.
Targets inland. Obviously an invasion over the mountains would be counterproductive, so you hold their economic revenue in the southwest where it's relatively flat and you can access it easily from Iran, or from Iraq rather, and then you take out their missile launching sites. I know they have the largest missile arsenal in the world of a non-nuclear power. You take out their enrichment facilities, you take out their command and control facilities. It's my turn to gift. What the fuck are you talking about? You just bombard
I'm gonna fucking ban you.
Or you do basically attrition like that until the regime is so weak that it's able to be toppled, and you don't have a repeat of Obama, where the people of Iran did rise up. I know people have told me there before, they're like, no, this is bad, people die, we should wait till they rise up. I'm like, we did. Obama let them die and they got slaughtered. So that's not a viable option here. We're running out of time before they get a lot of nuclear weapons. So we have to move quickly. So we basically hold the bulk of their oil revenue and gas revenue in the southwest relatively easily, no mountains involved, and we take out their stuff from the air. So a dual pronged
holy shit,
small scale occupation and
small scale, and so very, very tactical, very surgical. Jesus. God damn it, put this guy a fucking...
Because you had...
Oracle of Buses, thanks for the gifted tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. As an Iranian, we don't appreciate our country being bombed. No, but they're doing it to give you freedom, mate. Did you miss the guy when he said that he's doing it to save you from your suicidal nuclear selves? He's watched Sam Harris, guys. He's watched Sam Harris.
So you say like it's too late for diplomacy there.
Well, we've been doing diplomacy for 40 years. And
so it's too late. It's too late.
Well, you can keep doing diplomacy, but then you're just dragging out the time window that they have to get more nuclear weapons.
And just to clarify, you think that I was wrong when I said that you love war?
But you think I love this? You think I like if I could choose a world where Iran was just from creation, from like the beginning, it was a liberal democracy and everybody was happy and got along and everything.
Damn, Ibiza with a tier 2 gifted sub to Fire First. Thank you so much. What a generous stream. Wow, soy.
Or this world where we send in tanks and there's tanks and
tanks.
Hey, I know you said in that clip I like tanks and stuff. It's like dude, I think war is an awful thing. I think surgery is an awful thing to go through. But you know what? If your life is on the line and you need to remove, like you need to amputate to save a life, you got to amputate to save a life. And so,
bro, this guy's a fucking psychopath. Oh god. He reminds me of the guy from In the Loop, the American fucking hawk, who keeps he uses a fucking live hand grenade as a paperweight.
So there's such a thing as a lesser evil, and it's like saying to a surgeon, right? Oh, you love butchering people, you like cutting people up, and they're like, no, I like helping people. I like ridding them of disease.
Well, the thing is, the thing is,
ridding oppressed 80 million people.
The thing is, hang on one sec. The thing is, no, hang on. If you're gonna compare it to surgery, let me make it.
War is hell, but and look, war is hell. Yeah. So is fascism. At least the former is temporary. One is an everlasting condition, the other is a short-term.
You think that was? You think it was short-term for Iraq, Afghanistan?
Yes, the Taliban was removed from power in less than a month. Saddam Hussein's
and then what happened?
Regime, Saddam.
Thought it was 10 weeks. It was 10 weeks to remove the Taliban, wasn't it? Oh wait, this guy wants to duel. Holy shit. Wait, I haven't fucking drank. Jesus. Oh. Can I take this guy? Whoa, he's strong. Yeah. He's strong. Oh, did I get him? No, fuck. Oh, well, all right.
Okay, well, okay, I can answer that. So we went from in 2001, 0 women and girls in Afghanistan were able to go to school to in 2021 with the Ghani administration and the breath of fresh air that Kabul was able to get for 20 years. 3 million women and girls were able to go to school. Afghanistan went from being like
sure, but there's, in my opinion, there's other ways to do that.
On its way to being a self-sufficient democracy, Afghanistan went from 0 women in power in 2001 under the Taliban to, by the time
and then what happened?
By the time 2021 rolled around, 28% of the Afghan parliament in a deeply conservative religious country, 28%, that's almost Western
and then what happened? And then what happened?
Female.
And then what happened?
Like Joe pulled
they
the
were
rug
female.
from under the ANA
and then
the Taliban roll, and after 65,000 Afghans gave their lives in the fight against them, and Joe Biden, that loser, threw these people to fascism indefinitely and guaranteed that we're
so it didn't work
again now.
So it didn't work.
What, were we just supposed to stay there until the end of times while the fucking Taliban kept on like just having a constant conveyor belt of recruitment? The fuck? That loser. Oh wow. Alright. Okay.
Work.
It did work.
It wasn't short term. It didn't get the outcome. The Taliban are back.
It was going to be short term.
You said
the regime from power is short. Removing that regime happened in a month. Nation building takes time. Winning a war is fast. The U.S. won the Iraq war in 2 months. Nation building takes time.
Yeah.
And guess what? The nation building process in Afghanistan was a massive success, but it's like saying that let's say you got a kid or something and you tell him, do well in school, get good grades, and you get a good job one day, and he does really well in school, he gets good grades, and then at the age of 15, before he's able to get a good job, Joe Biden comes up and murders him, and then you say, well, it turns out getting good grades doesn't work because he didn't.
Bro, the Taliban were just like, they were never losing recruits during that war. That's why they came back so quickly. Like a nation that was fucking like so massively fragmented by like hundreds of years of people fighting over it. You're not gonna build like a civic national identity from one of the most fractured parts of the fucking planet. Like, not to mention, I guess, like the fucking influence of Pakistan being right next door as well. Oh god.
Didn't get a good job, and I'm like, no, Joe Biden ended his life. He was on his path to getting a good job, but then he was snuffed out in his prime.
Oh yeah, dude. Just a few more years, Just a few more years, you'd have had a good, strong, stable, self-sufficient fucking government in Afghanistan. Jesus.
Afghanistan was well on their way to being a self-sufficient democracy that was able to defend itself.
So you're telling me 20 years accomplished nothing?
Biden pulled the rug out from under them.
How many more years would it have taken?
A 5-year-old to go.
How many more years, Kevin? How many more years?
A 5-year-old that grows up might become a gladiator.
How many more years?
Might become a gladiator that could fight lions, right? But a 5-year-old can't. The lions
How many
are gonna
more
win.
Well, it's a 20-year-old, to be fair, right? You're expected to be out of the house and doing shit when you're 20, At least getting a degree. I don't say 5-year-old, bro. Like...
Years. How many more years would it have taken in Afghanistan, dude?
Well, at the level of troops that Trump and Biden had there, the bare minimum of just securing the embassy of 2,500 and Greater Kabul minimally, you'd have to be there literally forever. At Obama's level of having 100,000 troops there, which I supported, 10 to 15 years to be done.
It's especially, did you see all those pictures and those videos of those Taliban fighters? They were all like Zoomers. They were all like little Fortnite flossers. Meaning that a lot of them grew up during the occupation, saw what was happening, and were like, Taliban. They saw the efforts of Western democracy, and they were like, Taliban! Like, okay, well done. Sure, bro.
But Obama only did that for 2 years. So when people say, oh, it was 20 years. Yeah, but they only...
Yeah, they were telegroipers. Yeah, exactly what they were. They were hate raiding in real life.
Only actually tried for like 2 years. Even George Bush didn't really try.
Like, do you not remember that fucking Taliban spokesperson on the BBC? I remember watching that live. I was in Shetland. Yeah. The fucking Taliban guy. Yeah, they're listening to fucking jihadi rap. Fucking Kanye bin fucking Mahmoud, whatever. And that Taliban spokesperson fucking pure shit posting about how they were gonna respect women's rights when they were, Kanye bin Laden. And then that fucking guy memeing the Taliban memes, the Taliban fucking Giga Chad being like, yes, we will suppress women's rights. But then also the fucking Taliban spokesperson going in the BBC being like, so are you actually gonna like fucking stone women to death for adultery? And they're just like, You know, it just we'll review the status. You know, we'll look at the courts. You know, we'll listen. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You know, and just a bit of like they were properly fucking irony posting. All of them.
Like, yeah, he got the Taliban out from power, but he wasn't serious about a troop presence. Only Obama was with the surge. And if Obama had kept the surge up for 10 years, Afghanistan would be a free country on its own today, wouldn't even need any troops. So the answer is, how long does it take?
What the counter? Oh my God. Afghanistan, the brilliant world of neocon fucking Taliban counterfactuals. Jesus.
The nation build is directly a function of how much effort you put in. If you put in minimal effort, it might never.
You think that was minimal effort, yeah?
2,500 compared to 100,000 is minimal, yeah.
How much money was spent?
Outnumbered them. The Taliban outnumbered them. They was basically at a point of just securing some of the big cities.
So you mean to tell me that it's almost like it's a very hard thing to do, you have to send in an insane amount of troops.
Literally half of the Taliban are loner box subs. True. Ex-4chan radicals got a bit bored of the irony, decided to try the real thing. You know, Kekistan made it a thing. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if we can joke about this shit. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the fucking boxbala jokes need to die down a little bit. Because I am Lebanese, you know. We need to. Oh no. They're gonna be onto the boxbala. Oh shit.
To try and pull something like that off.
Well, but we're gonna have to do it again from scratch now after the Taliban and Al-Qaeda attack America again, or the UK or whoever, right? I mean, we're in NATO, we're in Article 5. If they do a 9/11 in London, the UK is going to do as America did and invoke Article 5. And the thing is, when we go back there again after that happens, most people will be calling for blood. They're not going to be like liberal, progressive human rights advocates and stuff. They're just going to want revenge, but they'll be hawkish. They'll support going in there like they did the last time. So understand, we're going back to Afghanistan. The question is like you have to do it sooner or later. The question is, do you give up halfway through and have to try again after you're forced to go back, or do you just stay the course and for once finish the job? I mean, you're somebody who's done a lot of education. I think you understand the logic of just the grind set. You grind until it's done. You don't quit, right?
Yeah, of course.
Why do you support quitting? Why would you quit on 40 million people?
If I
like understand,
this is like me saying,
the same chance of being born in Canada as being born in Afghanistan.
Let the guy speak. You fucking. I guess if you're gonna be a hawk, you gotta do this. You gotta take up space, you know, throw your weight around.
Why should we neglect and condemn 40 million people to a regime that will execute you if you dare to show an ankle, or execute you if you listen to music? Why should we tolerate this? So this whole thing about the solidarity of the left and change the world and upend the status quo. At the end of the day, the anti-war left are the biggest proponents of the status quo in every corner of the world, from North Korea to China to Iran to Syria to Afghanistan. They never met a butcher they didn't want to leave in power.
But do you agree? Do you think? Hang on, let me ask you a question.
So, if I had heard that quote in isolation, I would maybe sympathize a bit with it, because a lot of people on the left do have this kind of like never intervene ever, which I don't really agree with, because I mean that's obviously like the fucking Ukraine stance for a lot of them now. No, there are obviously times when I think intervention can help, like Kuwait. Like that's one example of like, yeah, probably should have done something there, because that was fucking mental. Saddam fucking going into Kuwait like that. Kosovo, obviously, you know, they have a Bill Clinton statue for a good reason. Like probably one of the most pro-American countries in the fucking world, but that's not nation building. Like, have we ever succeeded at that? Because I don't think we nation built in Kosovo. We just got rid of the fucking aggressors, right? I don't really count like subsidies and all that as nation building, by the way. Like, I mean, like actually having an army in there trying to build a nation. South Korea? I mean, I could even say, like, as well, like, the reason South Korea isn't, like, completely fucked right now is partly because America's there, like. Let's see.
Actually want to change the
Let
world.
me ask you a question, Kevin. I have a question. Do you think that over the past...
You think I love war? No, I hate fascism. I hate fascism. I don't love war, Heem.
Okay.
And the thing is, as I said before, I think you're a pretty good guy and everything, but I found that comment to be just either incredibly unintelligent or incredibly bad faith, so I had to confront you on it. And I'm having a hard time believing you can't grasp that I actually find, like,
I mean, I disagree with...
No, he loves war. It's like, I get, like... So people in chat said, like, fucking West Germany and Japan, like, yeah, these are kind of states that had, like, some kind of, like, pre-existing, like, thing to work with, you know, whereas Afghanistan has just been fought over and fractured and, like, had the shit beaten out of it from all sides and been, like, tugged at from all sides of the world for, like, hundreds of years. Since, like, before Alexander the Great, you know, people have been going in to try and grab pieces of fucking Afghanistan, and it's obviously never worked. Yeah, like, I don't know, doing this to, like, a state to a nation that's been fucking, like, ravaged by colonialism for that long. Yeah, no, the guy is a... You think he invests in Lockheed Martin and Raytheon? Yeah, well...
Like, why, if I love war so much, why am I not, like, in the military doing war crimes and killing babies and stuff?
Because you want other people to do it for you. What? Oh shit. What? You can't be a war hawk unless you're going to do it yourself. I mean, that's like, I would say that, but clearly some people just love advocating for it but never doing it themselves.
Honest to God, I feel like I've said this for a while. I feel like what you're doing is like an amazing. You're like kind of doing like like in sports you do tryouts and stuff. It's like tryouts for you to later on get like a job. Not the military. Wait, not the military. Not Kevin. No, wait, hang on. No, wait, one sec, Kevin. Let me talk. Not push. Not a soldier. Not a soldier. No, not a soldier. Bruh.
Bumping weights. I'd be.
Yeah, he wants to be on top of the hill, just like telling everyone else to, you know, go and do some shit. Yeah.
Bumping weights, bro. If I was trying to get...
Not a soldier, bro.
Military, dude.
Bro, a general.
Bro.
Someone who pulls... someone who says... Over there. You don't need to do push-ups for that.
What?
And listen, if you end up getting... Or a defense contract job... Listen, if you want to do that, I'm just saying, you're doing a great job of...
It doesn't appeal to me. Okay. I have a friend, like Stephen Michael Davis, he works in that industry. Like, he does that sort of stuff. Engineering, that sort of stuff, it doesn't appeal to me. It's like, I just, you know, I took some engineering... No,
Jesus.
I took some engineering prereq courses when I was in university.
This is where you need to call him a cuck. Yeah. You're not a war hawk, you're a war cuck. That's it.
Some of it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to be an engineer. Others,
you just want someone else to do all the fucking for you. You know, you're a war cuck. It's perfect.
Because I was just interested in science and stuff, but then I was like, yeah, but I like.
You don't need to be an engineer to be a general, right?
Well, no. You mentioned the defense contractors and stuff.
Yeah, like you could go into sales for weapons, or you could go into, like I said, being a general to decide like where you're gonna strike next. There's a lot of. Oh,
Heem's too nice. He needs to just call him a war cuck. That's it. Like, Iran is this guy's wife, and he wants someone else to fuck it for him. He's a war cuck. Am I wrong?
Yeah, okay, do you know how, one, to become a general,
as like to become a flag general, you have to go through a Senate confirmation hearing. At least in the United States. In Canada, it's a little different. Somebody like me with a political presence, I would never get through that hearing. You have to be like, you can't say anything on politics at any point in your career if you ever want to be confirmed for any of those flag
What about like John
right?
Bolton's and stuff?
Well, he's not a general. He was in the National Guard, but he's not like a brass. He's a national security advisor. If Trudeau or like if Trudeau or Biden wanted to, you know, say, hey, look, you've had a very long career in media discussing foreign policy. I'd like to invite you here to be my national security advisor or whatever. I wouldn't turn it down, but I've said it very clearly before. If I were ever appointed, I wouldn't run for this. And now, granted, that's not a running position, but I never want to be a politician. If I was offered a job to be like national security advisor or some sort of advisor to one of these people, I've said before, I would do it under two conditions. The first would be that it provides enough for me to sustain myself and everything, so I don't have to like work a second job or whatever. Generally speaking, these jobs do. I wouldn't do it for free. And the second one is I'm going to be streaming like each night while I'm doing this. I'm not going to say confidential stuff or anything, but understand I'm a YouTuber first, right? Above all else. Sure. And so no, the media is ultimately more important, because here's the thing, right? Even a prime minister, even a president only gets so much time in power. But if you can change the culture and wake people up and get people actually saying, yeah, why are we tolerating basically the Holocaust in North Korean concentration camps? Why are we tolerating this to our fellow man and woman, and that just happen to be born in different spatial coordinates than us? We should do something about that before they get so many nukes that we can never do something about it. Then it doesn't actually matter if my party wins that election or if the other party wins or whatever, because both parties are going to embrace the idea that it's our duty to actually stand in solidarity with oppressed masses throughout the world. So you think I love war, but in reality, I hate fascism. I hate torture. I hate concentration camps. I hate rape. I hate patriarchy. Whoa. I hate conservatism. I hate all this crap that all these regimes shoved down everybody's throats, whether it's with their religious police or their commissariat secret police or whatever. I hate.
Does this guy not realize that, like, the sad truth is, and I don't really know the way around this, I don't know if it's the case anymore, but like the Iranian Revolution was really popular. It was more popular than the fucking Shah ever was. Like, does he not realize that like, and that's kind of like a little bit America's fault that the Ayatollah and all that got really popular, because Iran tried to pursue secular democracy and they had a good run at it in the 50s. They had labor movements and shit. They had like fucking leaders who would try to bring in like women's rights and free elections and all that, and then fucking the US was like, nah. That's the one time, like, that's when the CIA actually just went in and fucking yeeted the guy. Like, that was the first time they did it, I think. That was the first time the CIA went in and overthrew a democracy. I'm pretty sure. People like this would never advocate that the US intervenes to save Palestinians. Well, he's too busy. Listen, he's too busy saving fucking Israelis from the imaginary Iranian nukes. I don't know, you kind of have too much justice around the world, you know?
Hate them all. I want to see them extinguished from the world, and I want to see a world where no matter what, and now granted it's going to take a little bit of time for this to come true, even if I'm in power indefinitely, it's going to take a little bit of time, but I want to see a world where one day, no matter what coordinate of the world you're born in, you have the same rights, freedoms,
of course, yeah,
and opportunity as anybody in Canada. And the anti-war left and right will never get us there. And at least the anti-war right will say, well, yeah, we don't care about brown people. But the anti-war left will pretend.
Funny thing is, the Shah and the CIA were so focused on stuffing out commies in Iran that the Ayatollah grew on popularity right under their noses. Yeah, I mean, this is like it's like a very common like divide and conquer thing. Like, there's a whole documentary about this. I don't really know how like accurate it is, but I think it fits. Is that like in the endeavor to crush like popular secular movements in the Middle East, like Western and like forces just basically opened the door for fundamentalist groups to come in. So you like that's where the meme comes from, like, which is like how Israel was fucking in Gaza funding like a bunch of Islamic groups that opposed the PLO, and one of those groups ended up becoming Hamas. But the point was that they wanted to weaken Arafat, and part of doing that was by funding his opposition, who were Islamic groups. So yeah, you pay a bit of a price, I guess.
Pretend they care about brown people and then celebrate as they fall to their deaths trying to escape the Taliban, as Joe Biden condemns them to potentially eternal Islamofascism. So you again, look, before we leave, you got to understand, like, if I loved war, like, don't you think like I would like be in the military or something if I loved the culture of conformity and like killing and guns?
No.
I like gay rights. I like sexual freedom. I like human rights. I like property.
You don't
rights.
have to be. You don't have to be a big fan of shooting guns to be
freedom. I like having the freedom to listen to music and not get shot or beaten in a stadium by the Taliban. I like all this type of crap. And you know what?
All that crap.
The military doesn't appeal to me. The culture of it, the uniforms and stuff, it doesn't appeal to me. But you know what does appeal to me? World human rights, world liberalism, world freedom, world gay pride. Let's have gay pride parades in Tehran. We're never going to get it your way. We'll get it my way in 20 years. I guarantee it. So I think that about wraps
I'm sure,
it up.
like, just like just like there's gay pride.
Literal fucking snake oil pitch. Like, yeah, I'll be the guy. God.
Pride parades in Afghanistan after 20 years.
Well, if we stayed there and hadn't pulled out, I mean, 28% of their parliament was female in a country where you used to get killed for even speaking about politics as a woman. They were on their way. We could have had gay pride parades in Kabul by 2060 if we stayed there, dude. And you laugh, and you know why you laugh? You know why you laugh, Heem? You know why you laugh, Heem?
Because you're being
at
ridiculous.
the end of the day, the idea of people that happen to be born in different parts of the world having like the same freedoms as people in San Francisco.
I was born there. I was born in Iran. What are you talking
were born
about?
In Iran. No, but see, this is the thing. You were.
Yeah. Okay. Damn. I like how he's got so much confidence in the 60-year deadline for pride parades in Kabul.
Born there, but at the end of the day, you say, well, maybe the people can get a kind of meager life.
No, what I don't want is my family to die.
You'd rather have the regime stay in power forever, so long as the regime slightly incrementally aesthetically.
What do you think the people of Iran want? What do you think the people of Iran want?
Well, I know what the people of Iran want. They rose up. They got slaughtered. The rest of them can't speak.
Yeah. Do you think that they want to get? Do you think that they want to get into a conflict, get bombed or get airstrikes? Do you think that's what they want?
Well, a lot of them have been brainwashed by a lot of that ethno.
No, they haven't. Because
God. Yeah. Oh God, we're on fucking maximum Orientalism now. Oh shit.
We discussed a lot of it is no. There's a lot of it's not. You don't know what you're talking about.
No. There's a culture.
You're wrong.
That's been inculcated.
You're just wrong.
That America is evil, and so they would not greet America as liberators, but would they be?
If we did things Kevin's way and stayed in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Democracy just kicked in. Democracy just kicked in.
Nice. Brilliant.
Happier in 30 years when they can actually like live their
the people who didn't die,
and not have to worry about the religious police beating them in the street.
Okay, you know what? Like, we're having a go at this guy. The reality is like, no one knows if or how you can get a fucking like secular democracy in like places like Iran, it's okay to say you don't know how that's going to come about. Like, just humble yourself a little bit and be like, you know what, I don't know, like, fuck. These parts of the world have had a really rough fucking history. Like bro, fucking EU we can barely hold on to fucking liberal secular democracy in parts of Europe. Look at what Hungary and Poland are doing right now. Like, you think we're gonna master the fucking craft in Iran if we can't even get like fucking Poland and Hungary to stay on a progressive trajectory? Like, they're going backwards now. Fuck. Look at that, T-Rex.
Yes, because guess what? Stockholm Syndrome is a...
We can't even get the southern states to stop being fucking batshit. Oh, God.
thing, and I don't listen to somebody who suffers from Stockholm Syndrome when they tell me that the regime is okay. I say, okay, you are
Did I say the regime is okay?
And we are liberating you, and you will thank us in 30 years. You might not understand it right
if you're
now.
alive, if you're alive in 30
God.
years, we're gonna destroy your country, destroy your home and infrastructure. And if you happen to be alive in 30 years,
we're talking about holding their source of income, so some oil fields. And we're talking about taking out some command and control and some military sites. You say destroy the country. Yeah, you mean liberate the country from the regime that's been stealing their money and sending it to finance blood militias.
if that liberate, let me ask you, if the let me ask you, Kevin, if the liberation, let me ask, if the liberation takes 50 years, if the liberation,
because you think that eternal fascism is a lesser evil
Eternal
than spooky
fascism.
war that might last.
let me
a
ask
year.
you, what is your maximum? Let me ask you a question. What is your maximum? Hang on. What is your, one sec? Do you have an upper limit for how long you're willing to? Well, let's say it takes 400 years to get rid of the regime and do the nation building. Are you okay with that?
That was hard.
Understand something. Okay.
What's your upper limit? Just give me a number.
Understand
Just give me a number. Simple. It's a simple question. It's a such a simple. No, we don't. No, I want to know what is your no.
We have to break.
I just want to know what is your maximum upper limit.
Down. You can't just ask simple.
You said 30 years. You said they'll be happy in 30 years.
Questions.
It's not complex. You said.
Hey, F-bombs for you. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that.
Ask for one-liner responses.
No, because hang on.
You can't do this
oh
in
my
physics.
God.
You can't
bro,
get asked to
bro,
calculate
you
modal
confident. Hang on,
equations
Kevin.
and then just
You
do
confidently
one-liner.
said.
You actually have to show your work.
Oh, bro, you gotta let me. You confident. Let me
You
talk
actually
for
have
1
to let me
second.
give
Just
an
for 1
answer.
second. I will. You confidently said that in 30 years they would be happy and liberated. What I'm asking is, what is your upper limit on how long you would grant being in a conflict before that liberation?
You think you'd ever debate this guy? Yeah, I could maybe ever go. I'd maybe ask him. I always try to think of like what are good questions that they just can't answer, you know? Like, I feel like people who are this dogmatic and this fucking like assured that they've got these like very simple fucking snap of the fingers solutions to like insanely complicated problems. Like, maybe one thing I would ask him is why secularism failed in the Middle East. That might be a good one. Or at least in Iran. And I could maybe also ask him, like, if he sees any meaningful difference between, like, nation building in fucking Japan as opposed to, like a colonialism fucking wrecked nation like Afghanistan. Or I can maybe ask him if we were there for 20 years and the Taliban didn't stop being able to gain new recruits, why do you expect it would be the same another generation or another generation after that? I can maybe ask him what level of violence and civilian deaths he's willing to accept to build a liberal democracy in like Iran. Yeah, there's a few questions I could ask. I don't even think It might also be interested, like, just to... I'd imagine there's, like... If you took him down the path of, like, one country, there'd probably be a lot of empirical holes in what he's saying as well. But I'm always more interested in like the rationale, you know, because I think that's the thing that people never really think about.
Happens. What is your upper limit? 50 years, 60 years, 100 years? What is your upper limit?
If it takes 400 years to liberate a nation building the regime, liberating and nation building are two incredibly different things.
Yeah, you got to liberate then nation build.
The liberation of Iraq took 2 months. The liberation of Afghanistan took 1 month. The nation building process, the liberation of Iran would take less than a year and it'd be over. The liberation of North Korea would take less than 6 months and it would be over. The nation...
Mate. Does he not see it? Okay. North Korea. You don't think there might be a pushback if you try to liberate North Korea, bro? What? Oh, God. You should watch his 2 debates with Dylan. Yeah, it might be good. Oh, Dylan's the condescending guy he was talking about, wasn't he? Yeah. I don't know. He thinks the East is like... Does he just think the East is just one big blob? Are all these countries the same to this guy? Ah. Uh-oh. Fuck, go.
Nation building process is what takes time and effort. And for that...
Yeah, what's your upper limit?
Some of them take a long time. Look, we have historical examples that we
I just want to know what your upper limit is. I just want to know. Just give me a number. I just want a number. I just want a number.
We did nation building in Bosnia and it didn't take 400 years. We did nation building in
Okay, I'm sure. I just
answer your question.
I just want to, you're giving me examples of times when it took less.
We did nation building in Japan, it didn't take 400 years. We did nation building in Iraq, it didn't take 400 years. We did nation building.
That's not what I asked you. I'm not asking for how. I'm not asking for examples. I get that, Kevin. You don't need to list. You don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to.
We did nation building in.
You don't need to tell me this. You know, are you listening? Are we having a conversation? Are we having a conversation or not? Are we having a conversation? Are we actually having a convo or not?
100 years.
Are we having a conversation or are you lecturing me?
So
I'm asking you. Yes. Get to that.
Limit. How long will it take to nation build Iran once the Ayatollah?
No. I want to know. Hypothetical country. What is your upper limit that you would justify? You would say if it takes this long, I'm okay with going in and overthrowing a regime and doing nation building. What is your upper limit to which you'll say it's not worth it? Because it's going to take 400 years.
But Heem, it's not a step function. You don't go flat and then just magically at the end of it.
So I'm asking you.
But you have to understand. Let's just use 400 years. That's your example.
No, I'm asking you. It doesn't have to be my example.
Goddamn question. Let me
just give me a number. Just give me a number. Just give me a number.
This is a question that requires a sophisticated response. You're used to interacting with idiots on Twitch.
Yeah. I'm literally just asking for a number.
Yeah, he's definitely used to talking to idiots on Twitch now. Oh God.
Damn, I missed him.
Sarah, he's got the bomb. You gotta fix.
I got him, Carson. He's heading for the Louvre. Your plans are over.
All right, Sarah.
Yeah. All right, team.
Step into it.
All right. Bonjour, everyone. Don't worry, everything is boom. We stopped the terrorists. Damn, I missed him.
Oh my God. Brilliant.
Who is capable of understanding?
Just give me the number and then explain
you're
it.
Capable of understanding long ansors.
But you're rambling. You're rambling. I asked you a very simple question. I just want to know.
Function. It's not a step function.
So what is your
upper that goes by? The conditions on the ground get increasingly better and better. It happened everywhere that we've ever done nation building. Iraq was better in 2008 than in 2003. Afghanistan was better in 2008 than 2001. Afghanistan was better in 2014 than in 2008. So your question about how long, the answer is it doesn't actually matter because
His plan is to invade Kyrgyzstan, since that's one of their main sources of oil. Oh, to starve. Oh, the fucking the southwest. Is that the southwest? Ah! Sounds yeah, southwest. Sounds like a hot plan. Listen, I would say don't knock it until you've tried it, okay? This is what the pacifists never consider.
Because each year that you're doing it, the people are better off, the conditions are better off, the
so you have no upper limit.
People are better off. So it's like saying, how long are you going to keep doing something that's making you more and more money each day?
No, it's not.
Let's say on day one,
this costs money. This costs money.
And on day two, you get $2. And then on day
this costs money, Kevin.
On day three,
this is not any cool analogy.
No,
this is costing money.
Let me finish, dude.
But it's not even close.
Let him finish, Heem. God damn it, you asshole, Heem. You uppity brown man. Habibi, chill. The guy he just wants to talk for another 17 minutes. It's about fucking Sam Harris video. But Heem.
On day three, now you get $4, and then on day four, you get $16. If I said to you, oh, well, it's been 18 days, are you going to give up? You'd be like, well, no, on the 19th day, I'm going to get even more money. So the point about this is the longer you do it, the easier it gets, the more benefit you get. So why would you stop? If it's always better to continue it, if it's always a better thing, then why would you ever even stop? And
so your answer,
how does this guy survive on hippy dippy panels when he wants to talk this much? Holy shit.
There's no upper limit.
And there's a reason we're still in Japan, and there's a reason that those countries do get better and better and more secure and more secure and more stable and more stable over time. And it's that the more effort you put in, the higher the yield of your results. And so if after 20 years, 28% of the Afghan parliament is women, but then after 30 years, it's say 36%, then why not just stay another 10 years and then it's 48%? Like you're acting like it all just, you put in all this effort forever, and then after 400 years, now you get your payoff.
No, when did I say that?
It happens in real time.
Yeah, of course.
It's like saying, why would you ever invest? Because you're getting better off each day. You're getting returns, you're getting gain each day.
Except
so it always makes more sense to continue each day. Now, eventually, you don't even need to be there anymore because they can look after themselves. In Afghanistan, that would have taken, at the rate of Obama, as I said, about 10 to 15 years. If he did troop level from 2010 to 2025 of the surge,
What am I looking at here, Fluff? Page 26. Oh. Labor force, are we looking at unemployment here? What's this? What page did you say to look at? 26. Oh, for yearly comparison. Oh, yeah. So this is so this is like the Iraqi unemployment rate. 2002. It's getting a bit high there. Oh no. Okay. Just kind of flatline. Access to administered essential services. Well, okay. Drinking water goes up for the rural population from 30 to 45%. Okay, that's all right. Sanitation services goes up at 12%. Okay. Urban goes down. Okay. Oof. Electricity production. Okay. Got more electricity. Goes down here, obviously. Comes back up. Okay. Estimated number of maternal deaths. Yeah. That's kind of no good. Jeez. Life expectancy pretty small increase. Number of physicians per 1,000 Iraqis kind of doubles and then starts to come back down. I guess this is ISIS, right? Coming in. Oh. Literacy was already rising from 95 to 2000. So that looks like the Iraqis were kind of handling themselves, even under fucking Saddam. We left in 2011. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, so they're kind of like, they did this themselves. Yeah. We possibly slowed the trend in some of those. Cringe.
We could leave and they'd be fine on their own. They could handle the Taliban. They'd be good. So your answer, to answer your question, basically, it really is that. It's that, why not just make the world a better place, and then the next generation makes it even better, the next generation makes it even better. It's a continual thing. We have to self-improve. We cannot surrender to defeatism and doomerism and just accept the status quo in the world, because changing the regime would be hard. Yeah, some things in life are hard. The things that are worth doing, the things that are really worth doing are hard and take time. There's a saying from Warren Buffett. He said, "A man sits under shade today because a long time ago a man planted a seed and dug a hole." So a man did a lot of work and planted a seed that took effort, and then a future generation reaps the rewards of that. This is a multi-generational ambition to get.
They did the same system as Lebanon, where it's like you've got to have like a Christian here, a fucking Sunni here, and a fucking Shiite here. Yeah. It's so, oh god. Yeah. Love that. The fucking eternal importance of that Lebanese fucking 60% Christian majority or whatever they always talk about. Ugh.
Get to a world where all humans have dignity, and where dictatorships and genocide and gulags and starvation are a thing of the past, and you are not willing to pay the price to get there, and I am, because war spooks you, and I view war as a lesser evil than eternal fascism. I am an actual
war doesn't just spook. War doesn't just
aesthetic. You are an aesthetic anti-fascist.
No, you know what it is, Kevin. War doesn't just spook me.
Support like some left guys in Toronto, but you won't support revolution in Afghanistan. You're not going to support us going over there and over.
God, I would love to ask this guy about Palestinians, like the fact
throwing a reactionary regime, because at the end of the day, you only care about within our borders, and I'm international.
No. So you're painting me in the wrong light. I'm for diplomacy. I think we can accomplish these goals through diplomacy. That's where we differ,
History's
I guess.
proving
Okay,
you wrong.
Okay, sure. History proved me wrong. And you say I'm spooked about war. It's not that I'm spooked about war. It's that I've had actual family that were in the Iran-Iraq war. My parents went to university on the border of Iran and Iraq. That's where I was born. Yeah. My uncle's cheek melted because he was hit with the chemical weapons, but from the Iraqis in that war. So yeah, of course war spooks me. I don't like war. I think that I'm a pacifist. I fucking I smoke weed.
Pacifism is pro-fascism. George Orwell.
Okay, George.
Oh god, he's such a troll. Oh god. Okay, this is boring. Holy shit. Fucking hell. Well done, Heem, for putting up with it as best as you could. Oh god, that's a good bombshell to drop it off on. Wow.